Hatena is an Australian artist that I've discovered relatively recently in the early days of 2022 and have come across this album here despite not knowing anything about Hatena really as an artist, who they are, much of anything, and any of their other releases, to be honest. But this discovery is an absolute undiscovered gem. It's the kind of album that just screams out to me as one that's going to be overlooked as the year goes on and people just don't end up discovering it. But hopefully this review manages to cast a bit of a wider net, just to give it that boost, because it is really bloody great. I think the combination of glitch, house, dance music, and of course Plunderphonics just give this album just a really fresh, just gives it a really fresh perspective on the genre and makes it for a really interesting listen. And incredibly fun and just chaotic evil as well throughout. There's just a direction that this album takes that you can't ever quite follow, and even multiple listens in, you're still like taken aback by the weird transitions into the, you know, the interlude type tracks and the transitions within each track themselves. It's one that really keeps you on your toes, I will say that, as cliche as it is. I love the tasty vocal samples that we get across this album, particularly on tracks like WN2. Even for the short runtime, it manages to keep you engaged and makes it really worthwhile, because sometimes tracks like this that have the really short interlude type tracks can kind of feel like you want a bit more of those tracks. You want them to be extended and fleshed out for, you know, 3-4 minutes. But actually, I feel like these tracks are very effective in what they do. But you just can't beat the moments that go hard as hell. Like a track like Blood, for example. This track, the beat is so hard. And then towards the end, the whole thing becomes quite compressed and a bit muddied. And it just sounds so freaking cool. And then you've got ExII, which is just a slice of dance goodness. And the bombardment of those clashing like house-driven synths and everything that's going on just really rocks you around, like you're just constantly getting jigged up. I'm a big fan of the house music, as you guys know, the house genre, so these tracks to me are just so enlightening. You've got the track Whatthe in Terabang, which throws you around like an absolute mental roller coaster. Perhaps something you'd maybe get with an Alton Towers roller coaster. And I'm not trying to say like it's a roller coaster of emotions. Oh my God, sometimes you're crying, sometimes you're laughing. No, I don't mean that kind of roller coaster. I just mean like when you're in a roller coaster, you get like, like every turn is just like taking you all over the place. You're strapped in, but are you really strapped in? Who the hell knows? You could fall off at any moment, and this track encapsulates that feeling perfectly. And then after this, it just goes into this weird swarm of glitchy sound effects for the next few tracks. It's really dizzying, it's really mad. It feels like the album's just melting in front of your face. I really like how it just goes from this high energy, you know, high voltage, 180% speed moments, and then of course you go into these weird glitchy interlude moments as well. I like it, it's cool. And then we hit the track, the moment of the album. I have to read out the title, because in the many years I hope to live on this planet, maybe I'll live to 130. Maybe it could happen. Who knows, guys? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm never going to remember this title for the many years I hope to live. I just will not. 1301 201 4010. Is that like, what is that? Is that Morse code? No, is it? No, it can't be Morse code. What is it? Is it coordinates? What? It could be something. It could mean something. I'm sure if I bothered to look into it, I'd probably find out. Anyway, man, this one is just fantastic. Oh my God, the transitions as well, where it builds up and then like slows down and then builds back up. Oh, it just sounds so cool. The length of this track, I think it's probably one of the longest tracks on this album too. But God, it makes use of the runtime so well. It really takes you on such a weird house journey. It's like morphing your expectations of what you'd think a house track would sound like, and it just does it in such a great way. And the way it kind of like slows down and makes, you know, feel a bit anxious, makes you feel a bit weird. Those moments for me remind me of the film Climax, which is, I think, a Netflix film. I don't know if it's a Netflix film actually, but it was definitely one that Netflix promoted a lot, and I watched it, and that film is mental. And I feel like this is the song that would play in that climax of the film, you know, where everyone's partying, shit's going mad, everyone's going insane, the whole situation is fucked up. This is a song that's playing. And then you get the blissful, euphoric moment of Me, which is just taken straight out of a DJ Sabrina album. Like, this track just gives you that feeling that DJ Sabrina is able to give you on their fantastic music. And it just kind of transports me back to listening to you know, some of the best tracks on any DJ Sabrina album. I don't know if there's influence here, or it may just be a coincidence, but that feeling really gives you a massive rush. And then Uncomfort, which is a moment that just feels like a really strange, unsettling Halloween vibe that it's got going on. I feel like Michael Myers is walking towards me when this song plays. It's very, very strange. But this album just has so much to offer, and even when it's not at its high octane, high energy moments, there's still some really interesting ideas being played around with. And that's why I had to review it. This is a really great listen. For me, it's an 8 out of 10. One of the best albums I've heard so far this year, and I've heard quite a few. January's been good, man. And certainly an album that I do not want to go overlooked, but you should check out Hatena. This is an album that I think people will definitely get something out of. At least a few tracks, I would say, at least. But yeah, this was a great discovery, and I am very happy I found it. So thank you for watching this review. Have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts of this album. If you have heard it, that would be fantastic. And goodbye.